A logo is the face of a brand and it has to be designed well. It has to attract the right target audience to your brand and it has to give off a good impression when someone meets you for the first time. I'm going to give you 10 logo design tips today that was going to help you become a better designer. Number 1 is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. What this means is just keep it simple, keep it concise, be clear with your logo design. Don't overcomplicate things, make sure it's simple. It's a simple mark that anyone can understand it. Anyone from different backgrounds, cultures, ages, anyone. Like, look at the Nike logo, for example. It's just a tick. It's very simple, but it's globally known for, that big brand and what they do in sport and just go out and do it. So it's important that you keep it simple as you possibly can. Number 2 is memorable. A logo has to be memorable. So it's when someone sees it for the first time and they walk away, they have to be able to remember what it looks like and what it is. So when it's memorable, people, when they're walking down the street or in another city or another place, can identify it clearly. Like, look at McDonald's. It's all over the world, but everyone knows them by the big yellow M. So that's why your logo has to be memorable. It has to be unique and it has to stand out. Number 3 is consistency. Whether your logo is a logo mark, a logo type, an icon, or a badge, whatever it is, it has to, be consistent on every platform or every application that it's used for. With its white space, with its shape, with its form, with everything that you're using it has to be consistent and it has to be balanced. And this will make sure that your logo is going to be professional and be used in the correct usage. Number 4 is keep it appropriate. So if you're designing for a business and they're very corporate, like a lawyer firm, you don't want to be designing them with a playful type with a lot of little icons. That's not going to work. That's more for like a kid's type of, brand. So you got to keep it appropriate. You got to understand that, some things are going to negatively impact your brand and some things can offend people. So you don't want to design something that's going to have some sexual orientation to it, or something that's going to be violent or something like that. So you got to be clear, make sure that you understand who you're targeting so you don't design something that's going to be wrong and off-putting because it can really damage the image of a brand, and you want to make sure that it's professional and it reflects the brand values and the brand goals. Number 5 is work in black and white first. I always try and work in black and white. Don't always jump into color and gradients and that type of thing because you get lost. You want to focus on the ID first. So that's why it's good to focus on black and white, because you can look at the details and see what's working and what's not, and make sure you're designing the logo that's going to work for the target and work for the client brief. So that's why I always work in black and white first, because it's going to help your overall composition and help you design a better logo. Number 6 is avoid effects. I see many young designers design crappy logos. They just put drop shadows, glows, gradients, strokes, boxes, and they just put all this weird stuff on a logo and they overcomplicate it. You want to keep it simple. You want to keep it professional. Keep it clean and minimal, you know what I mean? As we said before, keep it simple, stupid. But obviously, if you're designing for like a video game, you can be more playful and you can do some effects and that type of thing. But when you're designing for most small businesses and brands or corporate clients, you have to, make sure that you're not spamming effects because it's going to make your logo design really bad. Number 7 is typography. Pretty much all brands have a logo type or typography used within their brand voice and their brand style or in their writing. In every way that they have a logo and they have a type. And it's important to pick the right type choice. There's sans serif, serif, black letter, graphic. There's so many different types of letter forms that you have to pick the one that's going to reflect your brand's principles and values and the aesthetic of your brand and the look that you're going for. So type choice is very important. You don't want to pick, a stale, blocky type for, a wedding company because they're more cursive and script fonts. So you got to be careful of what you're picking. And really, when you're designing a logo, you got to test out different fonts and see them in perspective and see them in action in the real world. So you're going to ensure that's going to work. Number 8 is color. Different colors evoke different emotions, so you got to pick the right color. For example, McDonald's, they use yellow and red, and studies have shown that those two colors together show an increase of appetite. So it makes you want to go and buy some burgers and chips and eat, and it makes you hungry. Every color choice should be specifically chosen for a purpose, for a goal, not just picking any colors just because you like it. It's about your target audience. Obviously, you got to think about what you're designing for and who you're designing for. So if it's an organic company, obviously green and earthy tones like green, brown, and that type of thing would work. So always look at your color choices, pick it correctly, and look at what type of style you're going to go for, like monochromatic, or if you're just going to go for complementary colors. So be careful with the color choice, and because it's very important. Number 9 is keep it flexible. Your logo should be able to be used on multiple platforms such as web and print as well, and it should maybe be used as like a pattern, an icon, a logo type, whatever it's used for. It's got to be adaptable. It's got to be able to change and shift and be used on everything, because businesses, they use brochures, flyers, they have events, they have the website, they got so many different platforms that they have to use their logo. So make sure it's flexible and it can be used everywhere. So number 10 is keep the logo timeless. You want your logo to be used over long periods of time, like 5 years, 10 years, that it doesn't have to always be changed. Don't follow trends, and don't do what everyone else is doing, because trends come and go and your logo will become washed away, and it will die out, and it's not going to be valuable to your clients. So you want to make sure that it's timeless and it can be used for a long period of time. That's going to help their brand grow in the long run.